Hi, I'm Omar, and this is a crash course in data analytics. Data cleaning is an essential step to ensure data quality and privacy. When collecting or importing data, it's common to encounter errors such as spelling mistakes, empty rows, missing values, inconsistent formatting, and duplicate records. These errors might lead to inaccurate analysis, incorrect calculations, and poor data visualization. Therefore, data cleaning involves fixing these errors, removing empty rows, and eliminating duplicates to make the data more accurate, consistent, and ready for analysis. Let's start off with one of the easier of those tasks, which is spell checking. I have some data here relating to fraud cases. And the first thing we need to do is what data we wish to check for spelling. In this case, we will try column E, which contains the Martian category data. Then we click spelling, which is on the review tab. We do have an error here where grocery word has been misspelled. We just click change if we are happy with the spelling suggestion, or we could choose another suggestion from the list, or even ignore this error if we know the data is correct. But in this case, we will change it. The next inconsistency we will look for is empty rows. When we click Ctrl down arrow, it should take us to the end of that column of data. But notice if we do that in this dataset, the cursor keeps stopping when it gets to an empty row, meaning that the dataset is essentially being split into multiple sections separated by these empty rows. So let's resolve that. We have a way which involves selecting all our data first. Then we select the filter icon on the data tab. We can now see that each column has a filter icon next to the column header. If we then select the country column filter in column F, then uncheck select all, then scroll down to the bottom of the list, we can check the item called blanks and then click OK. This will now show only the empty rows at the top of our sheet. This can be quite hard to see, but if you look in the row numbers, you can see the rows are listed at the top and are highlighted in blue text. We can now select these rows and then delete the offending empty rows. We then need to clear the filter and turn it off so we can view our data again. We can double check again by pressing Ctrl down arrow shortcut again to go to the end of the data column. It will work. The next inconsistency we will look for is duplicated rows of data. There are two ways of doing this in Excel. The first way includes reviewing the data you plan to remove first before deleting it. It is important to select a column of data that you would not expect to have duplicate values in. For example, if we consider the column E, we would expect lots of these values to be repeated. Instead, let's use the device risk score column in column H, because it is far less likely that these values will be duplicated in the normal process of things. We select the column and choose conditional formatting, then highlight cell rules and then duplicate values. When we click OK and scroll down the sheet, we can see that only a few values have been identified as being duplicates. Let's delete the duplicate rows. So that was the first and recommended method of removing duplicate rows of data, which previews the data to be removed first. Now let's try the second, simpler but less secure method. This time we select the whole data sheet, and on the data tab we use the remove duplicates button. We can then unselect all columns, then only select the device risk score column, and the duplicate rows are deleted. The last cleaning process we will look at in this video is using the find and replace feature to repair some misspelled names. Find and replace tools are under find and select on the home tab in Excel. We have had an email informing us that we have the country United Kingdom incorrect. It is KU instead of UK. So we type the misspelled country name into the find what box and click find the next. Then click it again to see there are multiple incorrect entries. If we click find all instances are listed here, and we can open the replace tab to enter a name to replace the incorrect spelling. So we will replace all cells with that correct spelling. And now we are done.